So, what's up, people? I'm what you need. You're watching my channel. If you like what you're seeing, you can like, share, subscribe, and donate via Western Union or MoneyGram to my channel. Let's get into it. So, the topic is Canelo. Okay, Canelo Alvarez, and I just left it as that topic because I just want to leave it open for various reasons. Now, Canelo. Just recently, we heard that Canelo stopped a heavyweight uh, in sparring. The same tricky move where he do as if he's gonna throw the hook to the body, but instead he loops it over and he throws a hook to the head, right? And you know, the thing about Canelo, a lot of people just don't grasp is that he's a smart fighter. Smart. It's about being smart in there, not so much being this big machismo dude. A lot of people remember Canelo for throwing a lot of combinations, and it's a Mexican fighter, Cajunas, and Canelo's changed it up a lot since then. Now, Canelo don't have the quickest feet in the world. He don't have the fastest feet in the world. Okay, he have upper body movement, which helps him, and then he used what we call precise footwork. And when I was discussing with the Mosley guy, he was talking about how Sam Langford would inch in on his opponents, which is true. He would inch in against his opponents to get to the inside, coming off his jab. Something that you see Canelo doing as well. But the way how Canelo does it is even more scientific than how Sam Langford does it. So I'm going to explain to you guys what I mean. See, the beauty of the past greats is they gave the foundation for which the modern boxers today have built on. So you find that the modern boxers today would take something that was old school and then they would modernize it a bit and take it to the next level. Think for instance, Dr. J did in basketball the dunk from the free throw line. But then Michael Jordan did the dunk from the free throw line, but he pump fake in the middle of the dunk, as well as he extended his legs further upwards and crunched his whole body. See, he took what Dr. J did and he added more to it. It was the same thing with the modern fighters today. Whether we're talking about Floyd, whether we're talking about Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones Jr. took the triple left hook that Sugar Ray Robinson did, and he put more flavor on it. He put more funk on it. He took that bolo punch that Sugar Ray Robinson did off the floor, and he added extra flair, a style, and also different angles to it. So Roy did something a little bit different than Sugar Ray Robinson did. He modernized what Sugar Ray Robinson did back then. Where Sugar Ray Robinson would do the basic 1-2 left-right combination to the body, Roy decided to change it up a little bit, change his placement a little bit, sidestep a little bit, so he work around you and work the hooks and the combinations off the weak side. He decided to do a little something extra with it so that he get more defense inside of his stuff instead of coming head on strong, running them hooks, and then you get counted over your low shoulder like Sugar Ray Robinson did against Rocky Graciano. So I'm just saying, the modern fighter take it and do something extra with it. Check hooks, right? You look at great Joe Louis. He come through. Fighters coming at him. I'm southpaw, don't forget that. The fighter's coming at you. You take a step back, hook it, right? Now, Joe Louis did that. We say Joe Louis had precise footwork. He didn't waste space and time. He slide in with his punches. He was also flat-footed, but he would slide in with the punch. He's not on his toes all the way. He might be on his toes, but Joe Louis, when he fighting, he slide, okay? Danny Garcia, he slides, okay? They don't lift their feet high off the ground. They're not always on the ball of their toes. Sometimes they're just standing there watching, okay? They got the timing down pat. That's their key. Joe Louis had timing down pat. Okay, but he was a flat-footed fighter. Sam Langford, flat-footed fighter. Canelo Alvarez, flat-footed fighter. Now Canelo's doing a little bit more on the balls of his feet a bit, and he boxes a little bit. But he really a flat-footed fighter. His feet not quick enough. He don't have quick feet. He got quick, explosive. He can be explosive and quick, but he not the quickest with his feet. Jamal Charlo quicker on his feet than Canelo is. And definitely, Demetrius Andrade is the quickest on his feet than all of them, and he's the fastest on his feet. He got fast and quick feet. He's very swift, light of foot. You know, he can plant to really put leverage. Now, the key with Joe Louis, the key with Sam Langford is because they was flat-footed, they could shift their weight and get the perfect leverage, perfect power in their shots. And Sam Langford came up from a very small weight class, so when he was dealing with these heavier heavyweights, they were slower than the guys like Joe Gans that he faced and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So that Sam Langford, coming all the way up from lightweight, you know, he was a guy that would be quicker than them, well, quicker than those taller guys, especially with his hands. He had quicker hands. So he could be very explosive, very fast, and quicker than them, and catch them with little uppercuts and stuff that he liked to throw on the inside. And then once he catch you and he think he hurt you, he explode on you, like what he did against, what's the kid, or the guy name that we got footage of? I forgot his name, right? That I showed the other guy. But them guys used to kind of stand in front of each other quite a lot. That's another thing. See, I did this in the evolution of boxing, okay? Let me finish off what I was doing. Yeah, I did this in the evolution of boxing, okay? I talked to you guys about how fighters sometimes stood in front of each other a little too much. So you had more fighters that wanted to engage a lot more. They want to come forward and fight each other, okay? Now, there was some fighters who fight off the back foot, you know, and move around the ring. But even so, because Muhammad Ali was more of the extreme version where he moved a lot around the ring. You know, his cardio had to be really on point. And he moved, I mean, he bounced around the ring, okay? And he'd be, you know, galloping and bouncing and coming in and out. But then he had to settle down to fight you. So once he settled down and he sits down to fight you, that's when he gonna fight. So he move around the ring and all of that, and sometimes he shoot a punch while he moving around the ring. I see Sugar Ray Robinson do something like that, so I see where Ali could have gotten his stuff from. But for the most part, you know, bouncing around the ring comes in handy when you really need to sort of reset yourself and you don't want the other guy following you. Okay, you bounce around the ring. Floyd do it too. He did it in some fights. Somewhat little stints where he bounced around. Okay, you got to know how to do all of them. You have to know how to pivot. You got to know how to bounce. You have to know how to change your rhythm up and all of that. Okay, change directions, go either way, etc. So I'm not mad at that. I'm just saying that when you look at these past fighters, you got to know their styles. See, styles make fights. So, and I know Troy King says styles don't make fights, but they do. Okay. One style and another style, because they complement each other, all right, it's going to make for an exciting fight. And I know that from fight to fight, fighters don't fight the same way, but they have a basic core thing that they do that makes their style, you see? You know? So even though you may be a very versatile fighter, that you can do various different things, there's still a particular style you have. And whether it's coming forward, going backwards, you're going to revert to certain core things of your style. And you'll have certain signature moves and signature punches that are just typical of your style. What's up, Tommy Tempo? What's up, my dude? I'm just here preparing some food, and then I'm going to move around and do some other things. What's up, man? So styles make fights in that respect, back to what I was saying. So Sam Langford, for those people who don't know, and yeah, he came from lightweight like Duran. I know. He fought at heavyweight. He became the colored heavyweight champion multiple times. I know. Okay? And great accomplishments. Don't get it twisted. But I'm talking about his style. When I saw him fighting in the ring, he has a particular style that he fights with. He's a smaller fight. He reminds me of Duran in many respects because, again, these smaller guys coming up to fight bigger guys, always impressive. All right? Always impressive. But like Duran, He won the quickest of feet. Canelo's like him. Canelo's a similar fighter to all these guys kind of like similar fighters. Canelo. Um, um, Broner. Broner don't have that footwork. He a little bit quicker of feet than all of them because he's in a lower weight class. But he's not really got. Think about it. Broner don't move around all that much. Okay. Broner, Canelo, Sam Langford, Duran. They not busy, high activity, light-footed fighters. And what we mean by light-footed fighters? A light-footed fighter always ready to move. And even when they in still position, the footwork, they still moving their feet. They still always moving their feet. You don't always see that. Like guys like Sugar Ray Leonard don't do that. Sugar Ray Leonard, he don't have that kind of quick shifting of weight kind of movement. Pacquiao and Mayweather. Let me think of another fighter who do that. They be constantly shifting weight on either foot. There's a handful of them, but they're out there. My point anyway is, Sugar Ray Leonard, what he would do is bounce on his toes, get up on his toes and start to bounce back and forth, in and out. Pacquiao do that. Oscar De La Hoya used to do that. Okay? Shane Mosley used to do that. Okay? Mayweather more use pivot, so he's shifting weight on either foot. He always shifting weight. When you really need to get that speed for that quick twist muscle, shift weight, you know. Like he pull counter you, you know. Like for example, you throw the jab and he just snap back off the side and then boom, right? Pull counter. So it's, you know, he would just like he here and sometimes he fake it too. He fake like he gonna come at you with the right, you know. And then what do he do? Get you with the jab. Right? That's what I'm saying. He's a guy fainting all the time. He faint a lot. Okay? And that's what people don't understand. Roy Jones Jr. do the same thing. Faint you one way and then catch you with the other way. Right? Do as if he cock you like you're going to throw the right hand and come with the left hook. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm available for a live stream later on today, man. Sure, no problem, man. Whenever you ready. Whenever you ready. You know what I'm saying? I think of this. So anyway, talking about what I'm saying. So when you talk about Sam Langford, for example, I've seen footage on him. I know what he do. Unfortunately, when I tell the Mosley guy that he flat-footed, Mosley don't even know what flat-footed means. He said Joe Louis is not flat-footed. And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Joe Louis was a flat-footed fighter. Duh. When have you ever seen Joe Louis doing this? Bouncing around the ring or doing this? Look at the feet. The feet moving. See? He never do that. He just be standing there in front of you. And he slide a little bit. That's why guys like Billy Conn was boxing rings around Joe Louis. Joe Louis couldn't keep up with Billy Conn. You know why Billy Conn got stopped? Because Billy Conn decided to settle down in front of Joe Louis and go toe to toe. Dumb. That's stupid. You know what I mean? You settle down and go toe to toe with Joe Louis. Like, why? The dude got power. It's not like he can't box. It's not like he doesn't have a good counterpunch. That's like you try to sit down in front of Danny Garcia and go toe to toe. Why do you think Keith Thurman started circling Danny Garcia and going in and out? Because he knew if Danny caught him with something toe to toe, he was gone. He'll knock him out. Danny got that kind of power. You saw what Danny did to Amir Khan when Amir Khan decided to go in and out toe to toe. Boom, lights out. Counterpunching. The guy got sweet timing, right? Marquez, who's not a flat-footed fighter, Timothy Bradley boxed rings around Marquez. Almost dropped him in the final round. Why? Because Marquez is not the quickest of feet. And Timothy Bradley's feet are quicker than Marquez. And Timothy Bradley can get into position faster than Marquez can. So he boxed rings around Marquez. Okay? Canelo. Canelo is much more systematic and strategic as a fighter. And he moves his upper body quite a lot. But again, he always had problems with guys who were moving. Erislandy Lara gave him trouble. Mayweather stand right in front of him, do these small little pivots, and throw him off balance, and then boom, catch him, right? Counterpunch him, was quicker than him all around. Was quicker and with hand speed, quicker than him with foot speed. And this is very important because if you quicker than a guy, Sugar Ray Leonard versus Marvin Hagler. Sugar Ray Leonard had quicker foot speed, he had quicker hand speed. Sugar Ray Leonard slowed down to fight Hagler. Sugar Ray Leonard had to slow down to fight Marvin Hagler. That was how slow Marvin Hagler was. And Sugar Ray Leonard said, hey, he lost a step, but guess what? Even if he didn't lose a step, even if Hagler was in his prime, he'd have problems with Sugar Ray Leonard because Sugar Ray Leonard boxed Hagler. He didn't do what Hearns did. See, and that's the beauty of what Leonard showed you. You don't have to knock a guy out to beat him. You don't have to take it to him. That's what Leonard showed against Hagler. I wish he did that to Donnie Lalonde, but he didn't. He wasn't smart enough to do that. He decided to go toe to toe for some reason and got dropped, right? But when you box a guy which deserves to get boxed, you're gonna beat him easy. Kirkland Lane. Who's Kirkland Lane? Beats Roberto Duran easy. Okay? Y'all go watch the fight of Evan Viret versus Duran, the first one. Everybody booed because they thought Viret won that fight. They gave it to Duran. He outboxed Duran. The second fight, he busted up Duran's face. Okay? Second fight, he busted up Duran's face. He still lost because they were saying he was slapping with the punches. But he was landing most of the shots. Duran hardly hit Viret in the 2 fights. He outboxed him twice. He was supposedly at lightweight. Y'all say he was fleet of foot at lightweight. He was not. He was the same boxer. Yeah, he got up on his toes a little bit and stuff, but when he got on the inside and working you, he was flat-footed. Because that's how he get his leverage. Okay? He good at counterpunching you quickly and pushing you to the ropes, but he was flat-footed. Esteban de Jesus. Esteban de Jesus is a flat-footed fighter. He don't know no big, Esteban de Jesus caught him. Flat-footed fighter. Stand right in front of Duran, caught him with a left hook. Dropped Duran twice in 2 fights. Right? Why? Because Esteban de Jesus, he's a flat-footed fighter to stand in front of Duran. If you stand in front of Duran or you're running away from Duran and he can catch you, right, with his counters, he gonna finish you. But if you got the footwork and the boxing skill, you would Kirkland Lane him. Who is Kirkland Lane? Right? Then he goes after Kirkland Lane. After he loses to Leonard and Kirkland Lane, I think it was it Leonard Kirkland Lane? I can't remember if it was Leonard Kirkland Lane or Benitez and Kirkland Lane. I think it was Benitez. Benitez outboxing. And Benitez used to keep his head on central line. So if you had a good jab, boop, you know, and you jab him with the right timing, boop, you snapping back his head all night because his head was always on center line. Benitez used to box like this, okay? And then he do something like this, you know, and he throw his jab, you know what I'm saying? But his head always on center line. So you always bop down center line and hit him in his head. You know, he was a good defensive fighter, don't get me wrong. They say he was one of the greatest defensive fighters of all time because he beat Duran, right? But everybody forgets that Duran was beaten by guys. Kirkland Lane. If Kirkland Lane beat Duran, I mean, he didn't beat nobody else, but he beat Duran, I guess he should be one of the great defensive fighters too. Nope, he got his ass knocked out and stuff too, like Benitez. And Benitez had a good fight with Sugar Ray Leonard, but Sugar Ray Leonard kept bopping him along center line. Sugar Ray Leonard would pivot just enough to open him up, just enough to hit him down the center line. Boop. And Benitez never figured it out. He would dip under and all that, and he didn't realize he was always half a step behind Sugar Ray Leonard. He never realized that. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, he was a good defensive fighter. Oh, now Benitez is alive. God bless his soul, a legend of the sport and everything. But when you're comparing Benitez to a Mayweather or Whitaker, you know, and you're saying he a better defensive. I heard a guy say he a better defensive fighter than Mayweather. And I was looking at him like, no. Don't do that one. Don't do that. Because he faced Leonard and he faced Hearns and he faced Duran. And I'm like, dude, don't do that. Don't do that. Now you're disrespecting Mayweather. Now you're disrespecting Colonel Whitaker, okay? Whitaker faced Chavez and gave him a boxing lesson, okay? It was Chavez that was undefeated Chavez, okay? He hadn't been beaten by nobody. And Whitaker was the first guy to comprehensively beat him and get a draw for it. Okay, Frankie Randall later came on Boxing Man, and that was a much more tougher fight because Frankie Randall was taking punishment, you know. But Whitaker's the one that really beat him, and then they took the. It's like Adonis Stevenson, you know. Badou Jack beat Adonis Stevenson. They didn't give him the decision, but he beat him, and then after that, not Bevo, the other guy, Osnick or whatever his name is, who got beat by BWF recently. He benefited from that and he knocked out Adonis Stevenson. To this day, Adonis Stevenson's not the same. But it's really Badu Jack who beat him. And if Badu Jack had beaten him, then we would have Dvorak facing Adonis Stevenson. We'd have Dvorak facing Badu Jack, which would have been a better fight. And Adonis Stevenson would never been permanently damaged like he was. But the judges, by robbing Badu Jack of the decision he should have gotten, allowed for Dvorak to just annihilate Adonis Stevenson after that beating he took from Badu Jack. Badu Jack beat his ass pretty bad. He didn't recover from that well enough. And then he took a beating from Dvorak and then got knocked the fuck out. And that's why Adonis Stevenson's where he is today, thanks to the judging. If you see that, you think the judges feel they do fighters favors by judging in their favor, you're doing them a disservice because they still got their flaws. They still feel they can win with their flaws. And then when they step in the ring with somebody else who's seen their flaws exploited by the previous fighter, they get their ass beat. And sometimes they end up like Adonis Stevenson, or sometimes they end up dead. So that's why judges need to stop being idiots and just judging for the fighter they think is, you know, is the A side or whatever, and give fighters their just due. Badu Jack been robbed against James DeGale. James DeGale was never the same after the Badu Jack fight. You know, he was robbed against that kid from Canada, the white dude. I forgot what his name is. He got robbed there too. I mean, Badu Jack been robbed several times of fights he should have won. Okay, just recently he got robbed against Pascal. He beat Pascal. Everybody know this, right? He might get the rematch with Pascal, which would be a good thing. At least if he beat Pascal the second time. So he dropped his ass, and in the final round, he was coming on strong. You know, Badu Jack is a dude that hasn't gotten his just due in boxing. Okay? And he's still not the A side, even though he has beaten a number of opponents. And that's the problem with boxing. Right? There are guys who don't get their just due. Another guy who never got his just due was Carlos Molina. Talking about the big Carlos Molina, the 154-pounder. In fact, they put charges on him on all kinds of things for a rape case, and that's how he ended up in Mexico. Because this guy was a guy who won a number of fights. He beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Okay? They never gave him that fight. He went on. He beat Erislandy Lara. They called it a draw. Okay? He goes out there. He finally wins the championship against, I can't remember who he beat to become world champion. I think it was, I can't remember who it was. Then, after that, he can't get championship fights with other fighters. Okay? They hold out for a long time. And eventually, they're able to haul his ass to Mexico, deport him. And in Mexico, he don't have the best food. He don't have the best training. So he rots in hell. And that's how Cornelius Bundridge, who goes to Mexico, beats his ass up bad. But truly speaking, you know, and we don't even talk about him no more. Carlos Molina, he's not even talked about anymore. That's how much the industry didn't want him to be the champion that he should have been. Okay, and I never forget this because I remember all these things. Carlos Molina, hell of a fighter. The boy could fight. The boy could fight. He could fight, he could box. And nobody ever gave him the credit. They talk about Josecito Lopez all the time. Carlos Molina would, dust the floor with Josecito Lopez. He was really that good. I wanted to see him against Canelo. That was the guy I wanted to see against Canelo. Never happened, but Carlos Molina. I remember you, brother. I don't know what's happening to you now. I don't know if you're rotting in hell in Mexico, but somebody need to talk about Carlos Molina. Okay? Hell of a fighter. You know, Guillermo Rigondeaux was a sad story too. He never really get the kind of coverage he should have gotten. And he's still a world champion to this day. He got a regular title, but still, he's a champion to this day. Erislandy Lara is still a champion to this day. He got a regular title too. You know what I'm saying? These guys prove that they good fighters. You know, and they don't get the credit they deserve. I mean, Rigondeaux got the notoriousness of him, you know, and the fans that back him up still to this day. But I mean, I still love Rigo, man. Rigo's my dude. Yeah, he got beat by Lomachenko. No excuses. But he my dude. Another guy is Nicholas Walters. Nicholas Walters is my dude still to this day. You know, I don't know what has become of Nicholas Walters. I don't hear nothing from him. After Bob Arum did him in dirty against Lomachenko, all of a sudden Nicholas Walters' name is expunged. Nobody want to hear about Nicholas Walters. Well, I want to hear about the Axeman. See, because y'all fans forget these dudes. That's why I said Y'all want the fights that you want to see, exciting fights and all of that nonsense, but you don't care about the fighters. You say you care about the fighters. You talk about the fighters and all this. But as soon as they disappear off the scene, y'all ain't even blink an eye. Y'all don't bat an eye about them. Y'all don't talk about them no more. And Nicholas Walters, yesterday's news, that man was a champion. Okay? I don't even know what fight he had after Lomachenko and what weight class he'll be in. I'm not hearing nothing about Nicholas Walters anymore. And nobody raises a finger or thumb or says anything about that just because the man lost a fight? Come on, man. At least Guillermo Rigondeaux's still getting some shine. It ain't right. It ain't right. You know? That's what you fight fans do. So why should the boxers care about you? Why should they care about you? They have their careers and lives. He still got bills to pay. He still got to feed his family. Does Bob Arum even care about him? No, he don't care about him. Then they say Al Heyman's bad for boxing. Well, what's Bob Arum doing for Nicholas Walters right now? I hear nothing about Nicholas Walters. What's he doing about him? Right? Guillermo Rigondeaux had a contract with Top Rank, and we saw what Bob Arum did. He did Guillermo Rigondeaux dirty. Till he finally faced Lomachenko and he fed him to Lomachenko. That's why I said Bob Arum's not good for boxing. I don't care what Bob Arum says. He's not good for boxing. He treats his fighters poorly, especially the ones that are not white. He could say what he want about Muhammad Ali and all this shit. That's what he living off. He riding off of Muhammad Ali's legacy. All right? He riding off of Muhammad Ali's legacy. And Leonard's legacy. That's what he ride off of. I'm not saying the rest of his company, Todd DeBuff and company, may not be good peoples. I'm not saying that, but he don't do good. He talk ill of his fighters. You got people that carrying on your legacy. One of the greatest fighters and definitely the best fighter of all time, Floyd Mayweather, was one of yours. You shouldn't be talking ill of him. He's a byproduct of your product. Yeah, you ain't making money off of him, but you could build a reputation for Top Rank off of him. That was my fighter. So people can have more confidence in your brand. Yeah, okay, he went on to do his own thing in his brand. But you should be proud and be talking about, just like with Muhammad Ali, just like with Sugar Ray Leonard, you should be saying that this dude, not saying he's ducking my fighters and bullshit like that. That's stupid. And then on the down low, you trying to make money off his name with Pacquiao. Now Pacquiao ain't your fighter, and you saying you love Pacquiao and all this shit, but you don't want Pacquiao to face Crawford. What's up with that? Now you want Pacquiao to face Crawford now. I mean, come on, Bob Arum, which is it? You know, like I said, he bad for boxing. Y'all can say what you want. He bad for boxing. You get Bob Arum out of the equation, and all of a sudden, he's not talking that much these days, which is a good thing. You know what I mean? You know, if you want to praise up Lomachenko, nobody mad at you. Lomachenko deserved the praise. See, the difference between me and other people is I respect skills. Lomachenko got skills. Just because I say I figured him out, I know how to beat him, doesn't mean that he don't have skills. He actually is a more skillful fighter, better fighter than Gennady Golovkin. Fought hell of a lot better competition than Gennady Golovkin in his first 10 fights. Maybe hell of a lot better competition than anybody in boxing. Mayweather, Pacquiao, the only Clarissa Shields is rivaling him. You know what I'm saying? Rigondeaux even, he's got better competition than Rigondeaux. No fault to Rigondeaux, but whatever. You know? Hella boxing. I'm not saying no. I understand why he's on pound for pound list and all of that. All I'm saying is that how you praise Lomachenko, you should be praising the fighters that came out under you. Oscar De La Hoya was a hell of a fighter. We're talking 6th divisional champion. No matter how you look at, slice it or dice it, that's the facts. Okay, so Felix Sturm beat his ass. Fine. But my point anyway is he became middleweight champion. Big feat for a small guy. Yeah, he got beat. We know that. But the point is, he still got the belt. And he went on to fight Bernard Hopkins. He got stopped, but he had a lot of skill. Okay? So, I'm saying this to say, you know, Bob Arum got Terrence Crawford right now. I remember we talking about Canelo, so we'll come back to Canelo. And I need to continue. See, I can't talk and work at the same time. He got Canelo, right? No, he got sorry, Terrence Crawford. And everybody's heaping praise on Terrence Crawford. Everybody's saying he legit. He's really the real deal. I can't dispute what they're saying, but I can tell you what I see with Errol Spence. Everybody's saying Terrence Crawford faced, great competition and making pound for pound #1. So Errol Spence didn't face great competition. Okay, he didn't do it in multiple weight classes. But what I'm saying is, and y'all got to bear me out on this, Errol Spence has faced tougher competition than Terrence Crawford throughout their careers. Terrence Crawford faced Ray Beltran. The Scottish or Irish kid was a very good fighter, 2 divisional world champion. Can't remember his name for the life of me right now. He also faced, at 140, Victor Postol. Great fighter. Not great fighter, good fighter. Okay, Victor Postol, good fighter. And then he faced also Ndongo. All right? He also faced Gamboa. Gamboa was coming up in weight to lightweight. He had won the interim title, so I think it was the WBA or WBC interim title, but he ended up fighting for the WBO. Terrence mostly fight for the WBO fighter. I don't think he ever fought for the WBC. He's a WBO guy. He's a Bob Arum guy, right? WBO. So he became the WBC champion at super lightweight. The WBC, WBA, and then he ended up, or the WBC, WBO, I think it was, because he had the WBO championship, and then he fought Ndongo for the other 2 belts. Ndongo was a good fighter. Fought the Russian dude, beat him. The Russian dude faced the Argentinian dude who was undefeated, 46-0, something like that, and he beat him. All right, cool. And the Argentinian dude was a good fighter. The Russian fighter was a good fighter. They not heard about now, but they were good fighters. Ndongo beat them. He beat them, but he had a lot of defensive flaws. Terrence Crawford was able to exploit it, get him out of there. My point anyway is that them is the only names we really talk about. We don't talk about Felix Diaz. You know why we don't talk about Felix? Felix Diaz never reached that level. I mean, he gave Lamont Peterson a good fight, but he never reached that level where we put him up on that championship pedestal. So we got 4 people. We got Ndongo, we got Postol, and Diaz was a better fighter than Ndongo, okay? But it is what it is. Ndongo, Postol, Ray Beltran, Gamboa, and y'all know who I'm talking about, the Scottish or Irish dude who was world champion. It's coming to me, but it's mixing up with Ray Beltran for reasons unknown to me. You guys' jaw broke by Ray Beltran. 5 guys, okay? Them is the dudes. All right? All elite fighters, but are they A-level or B-level fighters? Ricky Burns, thank you so very much, Carlos Cuevas. Ricky Burns, that's the dude. Good fighter. Okay, good fighter. But think about now what I'm saying. Errol Spence faced Chris Algieri. I mean, Chris Algieri, he better than Ndongo. Right? We all know this. Right? Chris Algieri proved it by facing Provatnikov, getting off the canvas twice and winning that fight with a big old busted looking eye. All right, he can box. Chris Algieri, beat some really good fighters and stuff. Chris Algieri faced Pacquiao. You can't pay for experience, ladies and gentlemen. I thought he beat Amir Khan when he moved up to welterweight. He was looking good and everything. Errol Spence wrecked him, but hey, Algieri should have stuck to the game plan, which he was not doing. I guess punches make a difference. Good fighter, right? Then Errol Spence also faced Kell Brook. Come on now. Let me step away from the microphone for a minute. Pause. Which of the fighters you think are comparable to Kell Brook? This is Kell Brook. Let me explain to you what I mean. Kell Brook jumped 2 weight classes to face Triple G. Kell Brook's the dude that gave Sean Porter his first loss, and he beat him. Okay, Porter did a lot more, but he beat Sean Porter. Kell Brook's the dude, let's not forget, Kell Brooks, the dude that was beating Errol Spence during the first 4 rounds of the fight. Okay? Kell Brooks, a big welterweight. Kell Brooks was rated as the #1 welterweight in the world after Floyd Mayweather left. This is the Kell Brooks Errol Spence fought. Besides Yorkis Gamboa, who was giving Terence Crawford the business, even though Terence Crawford was the bigger fighter, who else is on the level of a Kell Brooks and all of the guys I mentioned? Victor Postol, good fighter, but no. Ricky Burns, very good fighter, accomplished fighter, did all kinds of things, but no. No, they're not on the level of a Kell Brooks. They're not. They're not. And that's the first. That was how Errol Spence won his championship. The #1 welterweight in the world, the IBF champion Kell Brooks. He beat him in Kell Brooks' territory, like how Terence Crawford went to Ireland, I think it was, or Scotland, and beat Ricky Burns. I think it was Scotland. All right? Like Terence Crawford's props for beating Ricky Burns. He didn't stop him. And Errol Spence didn't just stop. He didn't just stop Kell Brooks. He broke his next eye. He broke his next eye. Okay? Now think about this. Kell Brooks came off a brutal stoppage from Gennady Golovkin. Ricky Burns came from a broken jaw off of a fight with Ray Beltran. They are parallels. Except, everybody knows Ricky Burns is not as good a fighter and as dangerous a fighter as Kell Brooks was. He just wasn't. Right? Now, after beating Kell Brooks, this man goes on to face pound-for-pound champion of the world, Mikey Garcia. Right? Terence Crawford goes on to face Yorkis Gamboa. He wasn't pound for pound, but he was a dominant, undefeated fighter in lower weight classes, like Mikey Garcia. Just so happened that Mikey Garcia was more dominant for more weight classes. He had 4 weight classes he was dominant in. He had beaten Adrian Broner. Let's not forget that. At lightweight, he beat Gavin Reese and some other guy. No, that's Adrian Broner, my bad. At lightweight, he had beaten Djalatican. Okay, he was supposed to be this dominant, southpaw. Knocked him out. Cold. Okay? Outboxed him. All right? And Djalatican can box. Okay? And then, of course, at super featherweight, he did his thing. And at featherweight, he did his thing. Orlando Salido fights and, all the other named people that we talk about. This guy, he outclassed. He couldn't hardly lay a finger on Errol Spence. Mikey Garcia could hardly lay a glove on him. He outclassed him. All right? Who's the fighter like that? I guess Gamboa. And Gamboa is better than Mikey Garcia, I think. Style-wise. Busier fighter and so on. But to take more risks, Mikey Garcia take less risks, much more better, defensively responsible. So I guess Mikey's a solider guy. After that, Errol Spence goes and faces who? Shawn Porter. And everybody knows Terence Crawford got nobody on his resume that's like Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter is 2-time welterweight world champion and has faced everybody in boxing except for Manny Pacquiao and Terence Crawford. That's the only 2 fighters he hasn't faced. And he has faced everybody. He faced Ugas, Garcia, Thurman. He's faced Brook. And now he faced Spence. All the top guys. He's faced 5 of them. Ain't nobody else got them numbers. Not even, you know what I'm saying? He has 2 more to face, which is Crawford and Brook. He wants that rematch with Errol as well. Okay, he want to run back a couple fights. He want to run back the Thurman fight. He want to run back the Spence fight. If he could, he would run back the Brook fight too. That's where his 3 defeats are. All right. And the point is, ain't nobody in boxing in them lower weight classes like Sean Porter. He got the premier top tier experience. He got out of the 5 fights I just mentioned, he got 2 wins, he got 5 losses, and people could argue that he won some and he lost some. They can argue that because it was close fights, all of them. Well, the Brook fight was a little bit more clear, but it was close fights, all of them. Okay? Those are 4 names. Okay, Crawford got 5, but you look at those 4 names, they look superior to what Crawford had. But Crawford's pound for pound number 1 in the world. Errol's not. How? I'm just saying. And how Pacquiao's not in this equation? Why Pacquiao's not pound for pound number 1? And we're gonna look at fights and accomplishments and resume. Then now, if we're talking about skills, Crawford got a lot more skills and versatility, or he got special skills and versatility, and he's showing he's tough and all of that. But at the end of the day, you know, you got Pacquiao that should be ahead of him. You got Errol Spence that should be ahead of him, right? You got Porter who's up there, and because of the competition Porter has faced, Porter should be ahead of him. He didn't win all of them, but he should be ahead of him because we're talking about pound for pound best fighter in the world. All right, now a lot of people say Crawford, but I personally, I understand some of them have seen Crawford in action and his training and all of that, and he really does commit himself to what he has to do, and he's focused. So I understand, and he's got a plethora of skills. But having said that, Timothy Bradley put Lomachenko over Crawford by resume. Resume. You can't be fighting duds or guys that are just not on your level, or people don't perceive them on your level, and stay pound for pound. It just don't work like that. How long has he been at welterweight now? Since 2014. That's 6 years ago. 6 years ago. Okay? 6 years ago. What has he done at welterweight? He's had a Jeff Horn fight. Everybody want to rate Jeff Horn highly. No, you can't do that. You have to ask yourself, would Jeff Horn be able to deal with a Keith Thurman? Would Jeff Horn be able to deal with a Danny Garcia? Would Jeff Horn be able to deal with Errol Spence? Kell Brook? Ugas? Damn it. Would he be able to deal with the kid who knocked out Lamont Peterson? Would he be able to deal with that dude? Jeff Horn not even one of the top middleweights right now. He's not. He's going to be facing Costa Zuzan very soon. I got Costa Zuzan beating him. He going to get beat. Again. Right? Jeff Horn is not a dude that I consider a top tier champion. I heard Bob Arum say Jeff Horn will beat anybody. No, he won't. He beat Pacquiao because he studied Pacquiao. He had Pacquiao's number. But he's like Leon Spinks. You know what I mean? He got that win over Muhammad Ali, and that's all he got. Everything else, he was a punching bag. That's how it's going to be. Once he faces an elite fighter in whatever division, he faces Jamal Charlo tomorrow, Jamal Charlo knocks his ass out. If he faces Canelo would do him in. If he faced Munguia gonna beat him up. Munguia would beat him up. Munguia is not even a 160 pounder yet. And Munguia would do him in. You know? Jeff Horn is nothing. He's not a top 160 pounder. He can't survive with them guys. That's why he's fighting them Aussie dudes. Because he just won't be able to last with real elite fighters. He's not that kind of fighter. He's elite in the sense that he beat Pacquiao, so you got to make him elite. But he's probably the weakest of all elite fighters. Any other welterweight face Jeff Horn would knock his ass out. Terrence Crawford's not doing anything special. You know, nobody expected Jeff Horn to beat Terrence Crawford. Nobody. You know what I mean? I was never saying that. I was like, okay, he's gonna get knocked out. I said that. I said Jeff Horn gonna get knocked out by Terrence Crawford. Okay. So I feel Terrence Crawford is overrated, but the people who know Terrence Crawford inside and out, and they making those statements, even Mayweather said it. I disagree with Mayweather, but I always kind of keep that in the back of my mind because Mayweather know his boxing. You know, it's something that bullshit us. Like when he said Ward lost to Sergey Kovalev. You serious, man? Come on, man. That first fight? No way. Sorry, Floyd. I don't know what you was smoking, but okay? He did not lose to Sergey Kovalev the first fight. Then he went in on Virgil Hunter. I was like, dude, what are you talking about? This man trained this kid from scratch to be a world champion. What are you talking about? Virgil Hunter don't know how to. Come on, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. So, I don't care what people say. You know, Virgil Hunter will be pumping greatness in your bones. Greatness. I hear that because they did the work in the gym. They have a game plan. They know what the game plan is. Virgil Hunter don't have to tell him what the game plan is. He don't have to tell the fighter what the game plan is. Now he just want to keep the fighter motivated. You know, Virgil Hunter's a dude that don't have to tell you. He don't have to tell you everything. He don't have to say. He knows what he's doing to get the fighter pumped up, to get the fighter to do what he needs to do. You don't have to be speaking game plan out there in the ring. They did the work. Fighter know what the game plan is. You know what's kind of cool too, but anyway, back to Canelo. So let me talk a little bit about Canelo. So a lot of people try to play down Canelo. And I know Troy King, he's an advocate for Canelo because he sees what improvements Canelo has been doing over the years. A lot of people, even my boy at Key TV, he talked about Canelo being a drug cheat and stuff as his argument for the boxing of Canelo. Y'all gotta stick to boxing. Yeah, okay, he was a drug cheat. That's like Tyson Fury. Yeah, okay, he used the gloves. Okay, but then you gotta look at his boxing as well. You can't be like, you see what guys try to do is they try to take away from fighters' skills by talking about, you know, other things, right? Now I can understand if, let's say, Canelo or Tyson Fury turned down a fight because drug testing was in place, like Pacquiao, you know. But again, Pacquiao might have used PEDs, but you can't take away from Pacquiao's skill. What he do in the ring? You have to analyze him and see what he does, because a lot of fighters take drugs, they take PEDs, and they don't win fights. They still lose. So what makes these elite fighters be able to have that extra edge but still win? And do you think that Pacquiao would have won without those drugs? You have to ask yourself those questions. You see what I'm saying? But obviously he turned on the fight because he didn't want to do the drug testing up to the date of the fight. Which, sad, because Pacquiao, man, he should have been willing to do that. That's a strike on him, which will be forever in history, whether he's clean or not. Just like with Canelo and the clenbuterol thing. It's going to be a strike against him throughout history. That'll mar him forever. Whether he was clean or not, I personally think, this is just my thinking opinion, I could be absolutely incontrovertibly wrong, but I do think he was clean. Okay? Because he really tried his best to clear his name. You know, he was looking for every opportunity to clear his name because he was the face of clean boxing. You know, and he put in hair samples, he gave them whatever they want, and then the WBC sort of overturned the thing somewhat because the USADA and also WADA had overturned the rule very recently, and the WBC decided to follow WADA. But then again, the WBC gave Canelo franchise championship at a time when Jermell Charlo was his mandatory, and I thought, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you making him franchise? Because he wanted to face Sergey Kovalev. Look, man, that's a bad look. It's a bad look. You look like you ducking Charlo, okay? And then you don't mention Charlo's name. And then on top of that, you don't mention Demetrius Andrade. It's only recently I heard Oscar De La Hoya talking about Jermell Charlo and stuff, you know. But they ducking Charlo, man. They ain't ducking Andrade. And don't tell me them fight can't sell. Don't tell me that. The fans looking at it like, y'all ducking, man. That's what it looked like. Because Charlo's your mandatory. Okay, you face Sergey Kovalev. No, hey man, that's respect to you. You jump up 2 weight classes. You face Sergey Kovalev. You stopped him. Okay, I thought he would have stopped him anyway, but he did. Sergey Kovalev showed a better showing of himself than I thought he would have showed. You know, and Canelo shut that shit down. To be honest with you, he shut it down. Yeah, Kovalev was overtrained, but he still shut shit down. Okay, and the way how he did it systematically was better than Ward did it. And Ward was like, that's not the crusher in there. Well, of course it's not the crusher in there. Okay? There's a guy that's deciding he's going to box a little bit more. He's still got heavy hands. He's still got that Sergey Kovalev power, but he decided to be a little bit more, shall I say, strategic with it. He wasn't going for the KO. And trust me, he tried. Initially, he tried to go for the KO with Canelo, and Canelo counterpunched him so hard that he was like, you know what, I'm going to stick to the boxing plan. I'm going to stick to the game plan, box this dude. Okay? And Canelo just, the pressure he put on him is unlike anybody else did, okay? And I know Ward wanted to say that his battles with Kovalev and the blood, sweat, and tears that he put in, and he said, he had to go through hell to deal with Kovalev. I understand he wanted to have that kind of fight with Canelo, but Canelo is a lot more systematic than Ward in that respect. Ward had given the blueprint on how to beat Kovalev, but Canelo always had the tools all along to beat him. Canelo knew he had that 2 guard, see? So even if Kovalev had, punched with all the power, put everything behind his punches, he might have moved Canelo, like knocked him back or whatever. Because Kovalev can really hit. When he hit Canelo, he really hit Canelo. You saw Canelo's whole body move, okay? Kovalev's that much bigger and stronger than him. But if he kept his 2 guard up like he was doing and walking to him, or walking out of it, it didn't matter that Kovalev had that tremendous punching power. Canelo was slowly denying him range. And Kovalev, he was pushing Kovalev back. He was pushing him back. And Kovalev, he likes to make you feel his right hand and feel the power, the thudding power of his jab, But what's it going to do when the other fighter is determined to walk you down? He gets pushed back. He gets pushed back. Kovalev don't like getting pushed back. He like to dictate and come forward. So when you're pushing back a fighter and making them go backwards, which they don't want to do, which is what Canelo was doing with Kovalev. He's not comfortable going backwards. That's why Kovalev looks so tentative. Okay? Because Canelo made him do something he did not want to do. Kovalev's used to being the bully. And then Andre Ward took that confidence down a notch. And then Lita Alvarez took that confidence down a notch. And then he had this tough fight with the kid from London or England, right? And that took his confidence down a notch again. He survived, he made a win, but he wasn't as confident going into the Canelo fight. That's why Ward said he wasn't the crusher. He wasn't confident. Wait, he was the crusher. He was a smart crusher, but he was the crusher in the sense that he still had the power. He still had the quickness. He still had the speed. And if he had caught Canelo right in that first round, he would have get back that confidence, right? But Canelo never allowed him to even get that confidence back. All right, so you could talk about how he was overtrained, which is true. He was overtrained. And Buddy McGirt was trying to keep him and preserve him for the fight. So he was overtrained. But, it's like when I talk about Diego Corrales was weight trained. I like to keep it 100. I like to keep the facts. I'm not trying to take anything away from a fighter. I'm just laying out the facts. Because if I do it for the past greats, then I keep it consistent. I do it for the present greats. We can't be praising the present greats and then we talking about the flaws of the past greats. And similarly, we can't be talking about the flaws of the present greats and exempting the past greats from the flaws. We got to keep it consistent, 100. All right? Then your crowds will weight drain when you face Floyd Mayweather. Whether you like it or not, that's the truth. Okay? Spectacular win by Floyd Mayweather. And kudos to Diego Corrales. 2 great champions, 2 great warriors. All right? Oscar De La Hoya is talking about he had 2 damaged rotator cuffs. Okay. Fighters come into fights with injuries. Still got to get that W, right? So no excuses. Let's go. Right? So whether Oscar wanted to admit it or not, it's an excuse for why you lost. We don't need that. Now, you could tell us anyway, that you had 2 rotator cuff injuries, so we could know the fighters go through with injuries and stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't use it as an excuse for why you lost. Don't do that one. That's what we're saying. You can keep it 100. So we know what fighters go through. Like I just said, Diego Corrales, weight drain. That's not the reason why he lost, but it wasn't the Diego Corrales. He was going in there with some compromises. Terrence Crawford was weight drained a couple times at lightweight, and we saw it. It's kind of more lazy performances. So yeah, when you have to shed weight and so on, you're not going to be as optimal as if you do shed as much weight. Take for instance Errol Spence. Now I see him and how he punches on the punching bag, really heavy thudding punches. I realized at 160 he would be quite a force to reckon with, you know. But he's going down to 147. So when he comes down to 147, he's going to lose some of that force and power. Sean Porter, same thing. I'm sure if Sean Porter would go up in weight, he would be stronger and he would hit harder, you know, because he's comfortable at higher weights. Errol Spence would be comfortable at a higher weight, okay? So obviously Errol Spence is going to have the effects of dehydration on his body. He's not going to be as sharp. And even when I look at him, when I see him down at 147, he looked bone dry. You can see almost all his rippling muscles and everything. It's because he shed out so much weight. He's well conditioned and stuff, but he shed a lot of weight. You're not drinking as much water, and you're putting your body through all kinds of hell. And people forget that all of this stuff can affect you later on in your life because you're dehydrated, you know, taking punches. But he's a strong dude. He's a strong dude, a country boy. So right now his body's taking it, but he's not going to take it for much longer. He's going to have to go up in weight. So if you try to wait out this Terrence Crawford thing, he's going to have to go up in weight. He's not going to be able to face Terrence Crawford, okay? He's got to do it sooner than later. And he knows he has to get all these belts sooner than later. You know, got to wrap this thing up and get all the belts and then get out of the welterweight division. He's got to get out of it soon. Danny Garcia saying the same thing. He already outgrown the welterweight division. He's just hanging around for 2 more fights, and then he's up the road he goes. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you have to know these things. You got to be aware that you're putting your body through stresses. Your body's growing, it's developing, and at a certain point in time, you just can't make the weight no more. You got to get out of there, right? You heard Devin Haney say that. You heard Teofimo Lopez say that. They at the brink where they can't make that weight very soon. You know, they're sacrificing to make the weight, but at the end of the day, Teofimo Lopez is much bigger than lightweight. Devin Haney is much bigger than lightweight. Devin Haney and Terrence Crawford are the same size. That's crazy. Terrence Crawford's like, 170 something? Okay, 160 something, 170 something? Walk around. Devin Haney, man, he around that size. That's what you're saying. He's like 150 something, 160 something. He's a big dude. So, when you got these big ass dudes, and that's what I'm saying about Roberto Duran as well. That's why Roberto Duran used to fight so much. Back to Canelo. So Canelo Alvarez. I'm talking about all these fighters is related to Canelo. I'm going to explain to you why. I'm talking for an hour now. Canelo Alvarez, I got to go out and get some rice. Canelo Alvarez, man, he is a fighter that comes from the cloth of hold on a second. Okay? I think you use an option or something else besides bread. No. Oh. And I have more drinks on the below here too? Yeah, you do. I gotta get that salt out of the fridge. It's stinking up the fridge. Yeah, so, yeah, Canelo Alvarez, man, he's cut from a cloth where he has gotten the experience from veteran fighters. Some you can't pay for. Carlos Baldomir, Shane Mosley, Carlos Quintana, Kermit Cintron. I always mix him with Carlos Quintana. You know, these were all former world champions he was facing. And you get that experience, that veteran experience, all those little tricks and skills and craft and, So he's fighting these guys and getting experience. Remember, he didn't have no amateur background. And then he faces guys like Floyd Mayweather, Erislandy Lara, Danny Jacobs, Triple G, Sergey Kovalev, veteran fighters. Okay, Kovalev's a veteran when he faced him. And he's refining, honing his craft. He learns a lot from each and every one that he fights so that he can be a smarter, more refined, much more skilled fighter. And that's the point behind it. Canelo's not just going to come in there and try and throw hands. He's learned how to be very strategic with what he's doing. And fighting smart, not hard. you know. And then people feel like, he's, because of the training he's doing, if he's preparing for Kovalev, he's preparing with heavyweights. He's not training for light heavyweight. He will train with a heavyweight. You see, you train with guys bigger so he could get used to the power, and then he could administer his power and see how it works. I was saying in the last fight that Canelo, if he would, because he has a very sharp, quick kind of punch. If he would work on his, like I said before, kind of more relaxed punch when he's throwing his punch. He throws his punches so with so much force, and sometimes it's not so much force that you throw the punch with. It's more about how you. It's not so much the snap, in other words. It's how you get that lag. Coach Eric Bradley talk about that. How you get that lag time to get the punch more in, so you get actually a much more a heavier punch, and you're more relaxed while you're throwing the punch. So yeah, you want to turn over the punch and all of that, but that's the one thing about the throwback fighters. I felt like they threw too much into their punches sometimes, with a lot of viciousness and venom, and they turned it over really nicely and stuff, but it kind of took away from them being able to throw a combination sometimes. I mean, you have to understand what I'm saying. It's like a punch where you dig to the body. When you dig into the body of a guy, it got to sink into the body. The punch that you throw has to carry all the way through the object and not just bounce off the object. And not just a snap punch, you know what I mean? And Canelo kind of fights a little too tight. Kind of remind me of Oscar in that respect. A little too tight when he rip his punch, so that he can get that lag time, and then your punch will go through the target. It don't have to be fast. It don't have to be super duper snappy fast. And Canelo sometimes throw punches too fast. He gotta have a lag time. It's a timing thing, so it doesn't really matter. The opponent's still gonna get hit with it, but it will have much more through power, more momentum coming in, and you'll be more relaxed throwing it. You look at Floyd, how relaxed he is throwing those combinations when he's throwing, and then he sets you up to throw another punch, another combination, because it's not how vicious you look, it's how effective you are. So, so sometimes you sacrifice the speed and the snap for we relax it a bit to get more of that throughput and that power, and I think a lot of people, because you look at the younger Floyd, Pretty Boy Floyd, he snapped more of his punches a lot more. The older Floyd, you can see he's sitting down on the punches more, turning them over more, and then also he's more relaxed, so he can get more of that through power. The punch is executed smoother, and you get more of that whoop, that thump. Even now when I watch him on the speed bags, not the speed bag, sorry, on the big punching bag, right? His punches have a lot more thump in them, because you can see he's not punching with as much snap. He punching with more through power. So it go boom, boom, pow, pow. He punching with more kind of lag time. You get the hand back more, rock it back more. And even when it's short and chopping, he's more relaxed. So he get more of that, more of that power in his shot. So Derrick James said you could teach a fighter to punch with more power. He said Emmanuel Stewart talking about power is only created. That's not necessarily true. You can increase a puncher's power, with certain techniques and skills and breathing, ability. And Errol Spence was talking about breathing, actually, how like a person who's new to the pro game, they be breathing hard and stuff when they throwing on the punching bags and stuff. But for a seasoned pro, you know how to breathe to be able to conserve your energy and actually keep yourself composed as you're fighting. And again, all of this stuff I find very interesting, because when you look at Mike Tyson, he's right. You look at Sugar Ray Leonard, he's like right. Okay. Okay. But you look at guys like Floyd, you look at guys like Errol Spence, you look at guys like Canelo. Well, Canelo still he still do the ha every now and then. You even look at Adrian Broner, you hear them go ha for certain punches, but most of the punches they throwing, even though they doing all this and they doing all this, and they working and stuff, they still are keeping their breathing under control. They're still keeping their composure because that's what you're going to do in the fight, right? You're not going to be ha 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 all the time. You know what I'm saying? And I think that discipline gives you more cardio, gives you more endurance. You can last longer to fight. Canelo figured out how to breathe properly. When he was talking about the Austin Trout fight, he realized he was too excited, trying to go in for the kill, and he actually got countered a lot more. He got hit a lot more than if he was keep his composure, work behind his shots and stuff, look for the openings, and finish off Austin Trout. He said he could have finished off Austin Trout after he dropped him if he had kept his composure, but he was trying to go in for the kill. And so there's a lot of things in boxing that, because a lot of people feel killer instinct means once you get a guy hurt, you can get him out of there. Well, it's not exactly that way it works, okay? Especially if you're more strategic. The way Canelo knocked out Sergio Kovalev, got him indefinitely knocked out. So he was wearing him down with pressure. He was wearing him down with his punches. He was wearing him down with his footwork, closing off and stuff. And he was wearing him down by staying in front of him. And no matter what Kovalev was doing, he really wasn't doing nothing to Canelo. He wasn't phasing him, right? His defense was on point. So, and he was making Kovalev hit and sometimes miss shots. And then he countered Kovalev when he missed. So these kinds of things drain a fighter. They drain a fighter. Because Kovalev's not a guy that, even when Kovalev tried to bear down his weight and Canelo would resist him, get out the clinch, and punish him for it. You know what I'm saying? So Kovalev couldn't rest. So he couldn't rest. He's constantly had to use his footwork. He's trying to keep range. He's missing a lot of shots. Okay? He wasn't landing nothing. And Canelo's still still in front of him, still walking him down. He's in his grill all the time. And putting more and more pressure because he's closing the gap more and more. Incrementally putting pressure on Kovalev. And that's how Kovalev got stopped. Because it came to a point where he was very fatigued. And Canelo's corner saw that and they said, okay, go out there now and finish him. And he went out there and he did just that. He finished him out in devastating fashion, right? Why? Because, once again, you're not looking for the KO. You're just doing what you're supposed to do with the game plan. But eventually the KO will fall into your hands when the fighter surrenders himself and he's like giving up mentally and physically. That's the kind of pressure that Canelo put on Kovalev, and people didn't realize that. Because Kovalev don't do great bone boxing backwards. And he was boxing backwards for 10 rounds straight before Canelo put him out of there. Right? And that's what a lot of people didn't realize. Like, when you're a bully fighter like Kovalev, he better like being on his front foot coming at you. You put him on the back foot, and now he got a lot of problems because that's not what he do in the professional fights. He don't fight off the back foot. He walk fighters down. Now you making the fighter walk him down. That's a totally different new scenario for Kovalev. A lot of people didn't think about that. That's what was going on in the boxing fight. Canelo didn't take a step back. Canelo said, I'm going to walk your ass down. I'm going to make you uncomfortable. I'm going to make you realize that your right hand is nothing. And I'm going to make sure I neutralize your right hand. So Kovalev hardly threw the right hand throughout the fight. He was popping his jab, which is his dependable go-to. And Canelo used his jab to time him and counter him with his jab. So all that Kovalev was doing was actually being a disservice to himself because he popped the jab way too much. And he kept on popping the jab, and Canelo could just read those jabs. So sometimes he would catch the jab, sometimes he would parry the jab, sometimes he would clip the jab and hook it for a minute and then work Kovalev's body. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like Kovalev didn't want to try and do the 1-2 because that's what he do. He tried it. Especially early on in the fight, he was really trying to crank it up on Canelo. Canelo punished him every time he threw the right hand. He said, you're going to keep that right hand at home because you would want to protect your body and you're going to want to protect your head. Okay, he punished him for throwing the right hand every single time. So he was hesitant. He's fighting going backwards, which is not his thing. And so, I mean, the wear and tear on Kovalev mentally must have been tremendous. And I thought he did a great job of boxing Canelo because I didn't expect him to last that long. But he was doing a number of things really good. boxing Canelo, keep him ranged and box him, turn him. But he got tired. He got tired. Canelo wore him down. And then he did this great surge at Canelo in round 9. And Canelo was on the back foot and stuff, and Canelo's laughing because Canelo's like, okay, we're going to get you. We're going to get you. Keep on expending that energy. Just keep on burning that energy. Because same thing like Floyd. He won't let you throw your load, right? Make your offense, because he's going to come next, right? And Canelo came right after the round after and put him away. He knew Kovalev was done, right? And that's basically what happened with Kovalev. That's why he didn't look like he made a peep, and everybody's like, that's not Kovalev. Well, Kovalev where have you seen Kovalev in a fight fighting backwards, on the back foot? When have you seen him doing that? He don't do that. So Buddy McGirt trying to get him to do a different game plan when he don't do that since the amateurs, and he doing it at the highest level against a top tier boxer who knows how to deal with fighters doing that, because he dealt with a mover in Eris Lara. He dealt with a mover in Danny Jacobs. He dealt with a mover with Gennady Golovkin in the second fight. He know how to deal with that now. Floyd not so much, but the trickery and the skill that Floyd has, he's seen all of that. So if Kovalev came to go toe to toe with him, he was ready to neutralize that and get him on his back foot. Remind him, no, this is not your usual fighter. I'm different. Okay? And then when you look at the caliber of opposition Canelo has faced, that's what allowed him to do that. Okay? Canelo versus Ward would be a great fight, but it will never happen because Ward, unfortunately, has retired from boxing. But I would love to see Canelo versus Beterbiev eventually. But before all of that happens, I want to see Canelo versus Demetrius Andrade, Canelo versus Charlo. And just when people mention Canelo versus Charlo, everybody in the boxing world is like, yes, let's see that. People want to see those fights. Those are the fights we want to see. We really want to see that. We want to see Canelo versus Charlo, Canelo versus Demetrius Andrade, any one of them. Even Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders. Any one of them. Because they've been around with Canelo. Saunders was a champion when Canelo was a champion at 160. Even before Canelo was a champion, Saunders was a champion at 160. So we want to see that. You have history with these guys. Saunders now at 168. Demetrius Andrade, but Saunders messed up his opportunity by saying some stupid ass shit. So he messed that up. But Demetrius Andrade been with Canelo since 154, man. Came up to 160 and was a guy with Canelo at 160. And Jermell Charlo was with Canelo from 154. Came up to 160 and Canelo gave him the belt. I mean, come on, man. Well, you got to face these guys. You got to. That's why when people said, you got to face Ricky Hatton, Floyd had to face Ricky Hatton because he was a contemporary of Ricky Hatton at 140. Came up to 147. Hatton's calling him out. He had to answer the call because Hatton been around, man. Had to face Miguel Cotto. He's contemporary since 140. Had to face him. So Canelo has to face these dudes. He has to. And I don't care if he got injury or not. You gonna have to find a way to win against these guys. You're gonna find a way to win. You gotta deliver to us what Canelo did. He said, I want Lara. He got Lara. He fought Trout. He said, I want Trout. He fought Trout. Okay? He said, Triple G, I'm gonna fight you. And he fought Triple G twice. I wanted him to fight Danny Jacobs. He fought Danny Jacobs. So you got to do that, Canelo. You gotta let the fans know you still that dude. I don't care what injury you are in. Show us you're that dude. So I want to see him. I didn't want to see the Kovalev fight. It turned out to be a better fighter than I thought. It was Canelo's game to win anyway. The style presents itself. We've seen it time and time again. We've seen people with better fighting skills. I thought Danny Jacobs was a better fighter than Kovalev. I still maintain that. I thought his fight with Danny Jacobs was a better fight than the fight with Kovalev. I want to see him against one of them guys, man, Caleb Plant or, David Benavidez, Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, and Demetrius Andrade, Sergey Derevyanchenko, Jamal Charlo. I'm not interested in Triple G fighting. And Triple G's ducking right now, just stalling and ducking. Okay, talking about he need a tune-up fight. I hear Lomachenko talking about he need a tune-up fight to face. When you hear people say I need a tune-up fight, you know what I mean? That means I'm not eager to face you. No, I'm gonna suck as much money as I can get out of, because I know if I face you, I'm gonna get beat. That's what he's basically saying. Triple G, like, I need a tune-up fight. Oh, I thought you wanted the money. Triple G. Oh, you saw Canelo knock out Sergey Kovalev. Right. You know he gonna knock your ass out the next time. So you want another payday before you get knocked out. So you start your promotional company right. Now I got you. You overhyped. Okay? Talking about he beat Canelo twice. And come on, get out of here with that stupidness. And now you ducking and dodging. You the one that called for the fight, and then all of a sudden you ducking and dodging? Huh? You want a tune-up fight now? And everybody justifying that? No. Go face him now so you can knock your ass out and we can just forget about you and move on to something else. Because you're yesterday's news anyway, And I may sound mean to Triple G, but I just didn't like how this guy was overrated. And how people said in the first fight he beat Canelo. I didn't like that. That was disrespectful. The man, Canelo, got robbed in that fight. That draw, Canelo was like stroking his beard, like, what the hell just happened, man? I just outboxed this motherfucker. And he's the one getting praised and saying he should have won. Are you like, seriously? Watch his face? Look how that did to his face. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, It is what it is. It is what it is. And then they say Adelaide's board scorecard was terrible. I'm like, what is wrong with you people? Adelaide Beard was too kind. Triple G should probably have won just 2 rounds, not 3. The 9th round and maybe what? The 9th and something else. He should have just won those 2 rounds. You know what I'm saying? Everything else should have gone to Canelo. You know what I mean? It's just what it is, though. It's public perception, politics, and how people couch a fighter. Triple G was supposed to be this monster. HBO was the one backing him 100%. Canelo came across the HBO. He was supposed to be the guy that Triple G just ran over. That's what everybody was expecting. Everybody was saying Triple G will win this fight. Triple G will win this fight because Triple G knocking out everybody. Okay, never mind. Danny Jacobs gave him a fight in which Danny Jacobs possibly could have won. All right, but at the end of the day, Canelo beats him twice. Now Triple G know the writing on the wall. He's gonna get knocked out the 3rd time. So what Derevyanchenko did him. Okay, he's had tough fights. Danny Jacobs whooped his ass. Canelo whooped his ass twice. And then on top of that, Derevyanchenko just whooped his ass. Oh, he do need a tune-up fight because he know the next time he go in that ring, it could be curtains for him. Okay, Canelo gonna knock his ass out. Everybody knows this. He's going to knock him out. He's going to knock him out. And he's going to walk him down. He's not going to have no respect for him. And he's going to stop him. All right? Canelo's going to say, I'm on an early night. I want my paycheck. And he's going to stop him. I don't care if Jonathan Banks train him till kingdom come. I don't care if he get back Abel Sanchez. It don't matter. He gonna get knocked out, okay? He knows this. He knows the writing's on the wall. He know Canelo gonna knock him out. Canelo not gonna leave no doubt. They saying this fight will end in a knockout. I heard, what's his name? You got Sergio Mora and the other guy, Chris Mannix. Chris Mannix saying, I don't think this fight will have a knockout. It'll be like the other 2 fights. No, homie. This fight's going to end in a knockout, and it's going to be Golovkin knocked clear out. Clean clocked. He's going to be knocked out. How do we know this? Canelo's been sparring heavyweights. Canelo faced Sergey Kovalev and knocked his ass out. I'm guaranteeing you, when Canelo faces Triple G, with the defense that Triple G has, trying to improve his defense, Jonathan Banks trying to buy time, it don't matter. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, Jonathan Banks. He gonna get knocked out cold. I said it. I ain't changing my mind. Just like how I said Sergey Kovalev gonna get knocked out, he didn't do it under 6 though. Canelo's gonna knock out Triple G, and he's gonna surgically wear him down. We all know where he's gonna go, to the body. And when he try to protect his body, Canelo gonna come up top to the head. But I guarantee you, Canelo's going to get to his body and wear him down. He's going to put pressure on him. He's going to put that pressure that Triple G put on him. He's going to put that pressure on Triple G. He's going to back Triple G's ass up to the ropes. Slowly, he's going to squeeze the life out of Triple G. That's going to be the last fight of Triple G's career. It's going to be a career-ending fight. Canelo's going to knock him out. Triple G already knows this. The writing on the wall. He knows. He's talking about he won this third fight. He thinking paycheck. Oh, you going to pay for that. Trust me, you going to pay for that. Because Canelo said, I'm not interested in a third Triple G fight. Okay. You won the third Triple G fight. We're going to give you that. Okay? The question will be, will Triple G be in a coma at the end of the fight? Like how Sergey Kovalev was? He's comatose. Will he have to go to the hospital after the fight? Will he have all his faculties at the end of the fight? This is the kind of fight that we're going to have. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all asked for it. So, y'all going to have to deal with the consequences of it. Y'all Triple G fans. You know, punkin Canelo. Okay, punk him. He going to definitively put the asterisk down on it and say, this dude shouldn't be in boxing right now, and he's definitely shouldn't be facing me. This is a mismatch fight. This is like Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. Okay? Y'all don't understand, so y'all learn. He definitely gonna knock out Triple G. It's gonna be an early night for Canelo. Stop Triple G, and he's gonna go his way and end that story. Alright? Get that trash out of the way. Let me just get this trash out of the way. Okay, can we deal now with the real fighters? Demetrius Andrade, you know, Derevyanchenko should have gotten the belt. So, you know what? This is what Canelo should do. He should beat GGG's ass and give Derevyanchenko a shot at the IBF title, which he deserved because he should have won the fight. That's what he should do. He should whoop GGG's ass. And then after that, give Derevyanchenko a shot to get his title back. Right? That's what he should do. Okay? Because Derevyanchenko deserved that fight. He deserved to have been world champion, not Triple G. Alright? And on top of that, after he get Derevyanchenko fight, which is going to be a tough fight, it should be good for, it's going to definitely be a tough fight for Derevyanchenko, but we're going to see what he can do. After that, he should face, I don't care what nobody says, he should face Demetrius Andrade next. That's the guy who's the WBO. Let me tell you why. He was the WBO champion at middleweight. I want Canelo to get all the belts at middleweight. He still can do it. He had all the belts at some point in time, except for the WBO belt. He should go and fight Demetrius Andrade. I don't care if it's at 168. He is the WBO champion. Floyd fought Ricky Hatton at welterweight. All right? Now, he cleaned up clock because he never got to fight Costa Tszyu. Ricky Hatton beat Costa Tszyu, so he was able to beat Ricky Hatton, who was the guy that beat the man. See, even though he fought him at welterweight, he fought Ricky Hatton, and so he beat Ricky Hatton. Okay, and if he wasn't on his A game, Ricky Hatton would have knocked him out. All right. So, unfortunately for Ricky Hatton, after he got beaten by Floyd, he went into a slump. He didn't have the confidence anymore, and his career basically was over. Okay, but Ricky Hatton was a bad boy. He was a bad boy. And he would keep on telling you, you know, I was really a 140 pounder, but the truth be told, you won a 147 belt against a tough ass Louis Collazo. Louis Collazo always have difficult fights. Louis Collazo always expose fighters. I don't care who they are. They could be dominating them and stuff. Louis Collazo always wreck a fighter. He wrecked Amir Khan's nose. Had Amir Khan clinching for the fences all the time. Okay, he didn't drop him, but he wrecked his nose. Okay, he knocked out Victor Ortiz. He hurt Keith Thurman. He hurt Shane Mosley and gave Shane Mosley a tough fight. He gave Andre Berto a tough fight. I remember this dude. This dude always had the equalizer. That's why Paulie Malignaggi rated him so highly. Louis Collazo is a problem. He's a problem. You underestimate him 1 inch, he will knock you out. Okay, he's a dangerous fighter, southpaw. Very dangerous fighter. You know, I remember Amir Khan surviving the last couple of rounds against Louis Collazo. Louis Collazo dogging him. Okay? So people forget all this stuff, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I say it's boxing. And a lot of y'all have short memories. And they say it's what you do for me lately. But you guys forget some of the phenomenal fighters out there. You know? Y'all forgot, y'all forgot the dude that Abner Morris fought that was hitting him in the balls all the time. That was a good little African fighter. You know what I'm saying? Rigo fought, and he was also hesitant. Guess he didn't want to get hit in the balls. But my point is, y'all forget these fighters. Y'all forget what these guys did. It's easy to forget, and that's why there's so many great world champions out there from yesteryear. And so I did my series, Fighters Not Talked Much About Anymore. Some fantastic fighters, man. And y'all forgot about them, and nobody passed it down. And there's no Boxing Hall of Fame that remembers them, so nobody remembers them. I don't know if y'all remember, what's his name? Dinga Thorbella. Fantastic little fighter from South Africa. Okay? Dinga Thorbella. Go check him out. He was a lightweight world champion. He jumped all the way up. He almost became middleweight world champion. He fought for a draw, and he went all the way up to super middleweight, and he became world champion there. You think it was just Sam Langford and these dudes that did this shit? No. Hector Camacho did it. Jumped all the way up to super middleweight from lightweight. He fought all the way through the whole spectrum. And he used to just jump down in weight and jump back up in weight. Okay? A lot of people don't realize this is all phenomenal. I mean, he's recognized by the Boxing Hall of Fame, but I'm just saying, there's a lot of phenomenal little fighters out there. All right? A lot of them. And I could talk forever about them. All right? But see, a lot of y'all don't know these stuff. Like, y'all don't know boxing like that because y'all don't really follow boxing like that. So I got my series, the Boxing Not Talk Much About it. I'm going to try and get that going again. Yep. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that these boxers were greater than the greatest boxers of all time. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying we need to recognize what these guys have done. And it's always nice to discover a new boxer. You don't have to pit them against the greats of today, or the greats of yesterday and say, oh, it was better than this dude and it was better than that dude. Who cares about that? The point is discovering them and knowing who they are and how great a boxer they were. That's the important thing. That's why when I hear Mosley tell me that, I think it's Larry Mosley is his name, that Sam Langford would beat Floyd Mayweather, I'm looking at him like, dude, now you're getting carried away with yourself. First of all, Sam Langford fought way back in the day, okay? Flat-footed fighter at that, okay? Ain't no way no flat-footed fighter beating Floyd Mayweather. That's the first thing, okay? And then it's so far removed from now. You're talking about just the skills, not the skills so much, but the physical, the nutrition, the athleticism and stuff. It's just totally different to back then. In a way, they simplified boxing some. And it's just like, you just don't understand. You just don't understand how far boxing has come. And that's why I say, look, you talking about guys closer to bare knuckle brawl era. All right? You talking about guys closer to bare knuckle brawl era, and you saying they better fighters than the fighters. That bullshit just don't work. It don't fly. It don't. Even Jeff Mayweather would tell you, no, bro. I'm sorry, bro. No. There ain't no fighter 100 years ago better than a fighter today. It's not, no. Sorry. It is not. Ain't nobody just walking around the ring flat-footed. And then, yeah, they got the skip step and the explosive. Look what Floyd did to Canelo. Canelo was bigger than him. Okay? Your foot speed is not good enough. It's like, okay, if you have to race a car, right? One car is getting a roll to the starting line, and the other car is stationary. I'm gonna explain it. No matter, or sprinters. One guy, he get to trot to the starting line and then sprint off, and the other guy, he got to start from scratch and sprint. Who got the advantage? The guy who trotted to the line, because he got momentum. If you are moving constantly on your feet, and your feet are constantly nimble, you've always got the edge on a guy who just standing there, flat-footed, and then wants to spring off his feet. Even if he's on the balls of his feet, but he's stationary, his feet are more planted. Because why flat-footed? Because flat-footedness gives you more leverage and power. And no matter how explosive you are, and explosive means going from 0 to 100, means you can just go from here to boom, and just explode, okay? Even there, where you're very explosive, you still have a disadvantage against a guy who's continually moving, ready to explode. You just don't have the advantage. So Floyd's always going to be in position quicker than Langford. Langford always will be a step behind him. It's like the science of boxing, and y'all just don't understand the science of boxing. So when you say Sam Langford would beat Floyd, I'm looking at you like, okay, he used to do something beautiful, jab, right hands, and he come off angles, and he was explosive when he take off, and he throwing those shots and stuff, and he's very explosive on the inside where he's throwing his but how is he going to get in position to start that explosion? How is he going to get in the position for that? And they said, well, Langford used to use feints. Not really. He used to stand like this, and he'd just be watching you, and he's sliding his foot like this. This is what he used to do. Like, y'all know, you gotta watch the footage. Look, I'm demonstrating the shit for you to see. All right? I'm demonstrating it so you would see. He wasn't doing this. He wasn't doing this. He wasn't doing that. Because he flat-footed. Canelo's flat-footed too. He could go up in his toes a little bit and do a little bit of boxing, but his feet slow. His feet are slow. He working on it. I see him working on it, but still, his feet are still slow. Right? He explosive. He's like a James Toney-ish kind of dude. James Toney didn't have the fastest feet in the world, but his upper body movement was great. And he could pivot very well. Joe Louis don't have fast feet. He don't. They say he's trying to be economical. He's not trying to be economical, ladies and gentlemen. He just didn't have fast feet. So he cut the angles. He was really good at boxing, though. He had his angles down pat. But if Joe Louis had to go looking for you, it'd be tougher for Joe Louis. That's why Billy Conn ran rings around him. Can keep up with Billy Conn. Billy Conn was beating him easy. In and out. Boxing him. Bop, bop. Gone. Boop. Gone. You started standing and trade with the dude. That's where you make the mistake. That's his area. That's his range. That's his strongest point. Why you gonna trade with him in his small trunks? Stupid. Bad choice making, right? Yeah, so Canelo, very smart fighter though. Okay? He still knows how to optimize. He uses the small foot movements to inch in on his opponent in a very technical, very strategic way. Sometimes he keep this rhythm going, and sometimes he just turn into high guard and creep in on you. He's sneaking in on you. You don't realize he's sneaking in on you. And he's covering ground. Okay? Smart fighter. He learned a lot over time. But he'll always have difficulty with guys who got the step on him, because they can get in position faster than he can. Even though he can swivel his upper body and face them, his feet gonna keep him back all the time. Unless he pivot on his feet pretty fast to turn to them, which he can do a little bit of. I see him doing it. Upper body, and he swivel his feet, but they're gonna have to come to him. If you make Canelo come to you, or you mix it up. You make him come to you at times. You stay right in front of him, but you shift your angles pretty well. You're going to put pressure on him, first of all, so he had to back up. And then you make him come to you. It's kind of like what Sean Porter did to Adrian Broner. You kind of have to do to Canelo, which is you're making Adrian Broner come fetch you, and then you counterpunch him, and you start landing shots on him. You back him up all the way across the ring, and you punish him. And he want to clinch up after that. You got to do something like that to Canelo. What Floyd did to Canelo was he pushed him back. He let him know, you can't bully me around. And then he just decided to lay off of Canelo and do this. Okay? And now Canelo got to go find him. So he's stressing out Canelo trying to find him. And at the same time, when he's ready, he come and walk Canelo back. I put the heat on him and put those hands on him. That's what you got to do with these guys. It's a mind game. 90% mental. You got to wear them down. And best way to wear down a fighter is mentally. You got to break them mentally. So that's what he did with Castillo in the second fight. He broke Castillo mentally. Mentally, Castillo couldn't keep up with him. Was trying, and he couldn't keep up with him, and so he broke him down. That's how he beat him. It was competitive for 10 rounds. But the 11 and 12 was all Floyd because Castillo gave up. He gave up. Right? Broke him mentally. So, I mean, you guys got to understand boxing, man. Y'all feel it's all about knockouts and all these physical attributes, which are cool. But like I said, the mental of it, you have to know how to use those physical attributes. You have to have a game plan for how to beat somebody. You have to have a game plan for how to beat somebody. Then you have to be able to execute that game plan, which is a whole different story altogether. That's where it gets really down to the practical aspects of boxing and what you need to do to make that happen. But you have to have a game plan. Errol Spence has a good game plan for beating Floyd Mayweather, but it's not as easy to execute as he's saying in terms of the game plan. But that's the goal. Back him up to the ropes, work his body, back him up with a jab. That's the goal. If you can do that and execute it very well, you're more than likely going to win the fight. But how many people have tried to implement that game plan and fallen short? You have to ask yourself now, why was Floyd able to get them out of their game plan? It's a good game plan. It's not the only game plan. And Miguel Cotto showed you. You have to mix it up with Floyd. You can't just have him, you can't be just going to him and fighting him. You have to turn the script and let him come to you as well. You can't just be doing one thing with Floyd. You gotta mix it up. And anytime he starts to dictate, you're in trouble. Because he's got you thinking that you're not sticking to your game plan. But Cotto showed he stuck to his game plan. He didn't change his game plan because he didn't have as much skill as Floyd, but he was tougher than Floyd, and bigger and stronger than Floyd, punch harder than Floyd. So he stuck to his game plan, and even though he was getting hit at times, he stuck with the game plan, and it worked out for him. Post-fight or when he was sparring Floyd, stuck to his game plan. And you gotta have a fighter that's mentally strong enough to stick to the game plan, regardless of what's happening. Even though it doesn't seem like it's working, you still stick to the same game plan. Be consistent. Because it's not about what's happening now. You gotta look at what's gonna happen in the end point. And you're working towards that end point. This is why Chris Mullins was able to beat Chris Eubank Jr. He stuck with his game plan. He got dropped early. Chris Eubank Jr. was doing a number on him, but he was able to come back in the fight and beat up Chris Eubank Sr., not Jr. He was able to beat him because he stuck to the game plan. Early on, he still stayed with the game plan, and it bore fruit later down the road. And that's not easy to do. It's not. Especially if you're being outclassed by a much more skilled fighter, it's hard to do. And then sometimes you can't get the openings or the opportunities or the timing or anything off. Or all your entire momentum is shut down, and you still got to stick to that game plan. Ultimately, you still got to stick to it. Even though you're not getting no momentum, nothing's happening. You can't give up. You got to go straight through the rest of the fight and figure out a way and figure out how to execute it. It could wear you down. You could get mentally tired, so you have to get stronger mentally so you don't fatigue under the stress of trying to figure out the game plan to beat this dude. You understand? There's several different ways to approach a fight with Mayweather because he presents it several different ways. So there's no specific, like Sugar Ray Leonard said, there's no specific way to beat Mayweather. There's several different ways you could go about doing it. The question is, can you execute any one of them or all of them to be able to beat him? That's what you got to ask yourself. Because he's got options. Because he's got various skills and stuff. And then on top of that, it's not just his skill, but he also sticks to his game plan. So whatever game plan it is that he has for you, he's going to stick to it. You guarantee that. The question is, can you stick to yours? And when Errol Spence acknowledged that Floyd is mentally tough, I think he should factor in the fact that Floyd will stick to a game plan, whether or not it's working for him early or not. He's going to stick to it. Not going to abandon the game plan. So It takes a certain mental toughness to do that. All right. But Canelo, like I said before, Canelo's following in those footsteps, and he sticks to his game plan. And he keeps his composure, he keeps calm. And even when people say that other boxers are outboxing him, when in fact he's setting them up for the knockout, you see that Canelo sticks to his game plan. He keeps his composure. All these things I know for a fact he did not learn from Sugar Ray Robinson and all these other guys. He learned by being in the ring with Floyd Mayweather. And you hear him talking those same things that Mayweather said. And you see him following Floyd Mayweather's footsteps, talking about he knocked out heavyweights and stuff. And that's great. I mean, this is, if you got to be somebody, if there's somebody you model yourself after, even though you have a different style to him, because Canelo has a different style to Mayweather. It's Mayweather. All right? Why not? He's your present. He's closest to you. What did Floyd patterned a lot of his, what he said, and a lot of advice from Pernell Whitaker, he borrowed it from Pernell Whitaker. Okay? Especially when he went up to higher weight classes, he realized, okay, I can't knock these guys out, so I'm going to have to outbox them. And you saw he borrowed a page out of Pernell Whitaker's book, and he became a defensive genius. He's not defensive genius in the way Pernell Whitaker was, but he's a defensive genius nonetheless. And so he borrowed from Pernell and Roy, and Canelo was borrowing off of Floyd and Robinson. Okay, and it's good. It's good. You know, if you got to borrow after anybody, borrow after the best. You know, we knew that he also borrowed some things off of Oscar, but he don't do it so much anymore. Those combinational throws that he would do, depending on the opponent, he would do that. But he's more pot shot now. So Roy, Whitaker, Robinson. I'm gonna mention a name that people don't usually mention a whole lot, but great fighter. Surgical fighter. You know, this is the way how he do things. And if you notice, Canelo don't use the jab a whole lot. Again, patterning himself not after Robinson, because Robinson used the jab a lot. Not after Leonard, because Leonard used the jab a lot. Floyd, Roy, okay? Very strategic. You're not just going to let people see your jab and get used to your jab. The jab must be something that's a tool that jars you, catches you off guard. You know, Andre Ward would say it best. You don't throw the jab the same way twice. Okay? You try to vary your jab. Mix them up. Change the rhythm. Change the speed. Change the type of jab. Change the position of the jab. You know? Perfect your jab. Change the location in which you throw the jab. Change the impact of the jab. You don't have to throw everything with the same kind of force and power. So, and you're strategic about where you place that jab. You must know why you're placing your jab, where you're placing your jab, to wear down your opponent, to hurt your opponent, to stun your opponent, to shock your opponent. See what I'm saying? This is boxing, ladies and gentlemen. And a lot of times the commentators don't talk about this stuff in a fight. You know, you see it more and more now with boxing commentators where they will sort of explain, but because of the politics of boxing and because they side with one fighter, they will not show you the beauty of what both fighters are doing. They show you only one fighter, their fighter that they're watching. They're not showing you what the other fighter's doing, and they say this fighter's trying to do this. Who was the better jabber in GGG versus Canelo 1? Canelo. He didn't throw it a whole lot. Whenever he threw his jab, it was extremely effective. Cut through GGG's defense, backed him the hell up. They would back off of Canelo after the jab. So much that Canelo started feinting the jab and would back Triple G up. The more effective jabber in Canelo versus Triple G was not the guy that was throwing the most jabs. It was the guy that was getting the reaction after the other guy because he was even trying to throw a jab. That's boxing. What's it? Effectiveness is the key in boxing. Effectiveness. It's not how many. It's not quantitative. It's not cumulative. It is qualitative. Boxing's a sport that one punch can knock you out. Therefore, you cannot just look at how many punches a fighter throws in a fight or how many punches a fighter throws in a round. You have to look at the effective punches. How am I getting a reaction out of the fighter when I do this kind of punch? Am I getting the fighter to do what I want according to my game plan? Are they at the range I want them at? Are they on the ropes or in the center of the ring? Are they willing to engage me because I'm using what is called the bait jab? See, there are different kinds of jabs for different purposes. If I bait them, I can counter them. What I do, I throw out the bait first time, I don't counter. I just watch to see what they're going to do. Now I throw out the bait again, and then they respond with a jab back at me. Throw the bait again just to make sure. Check my angle like Sergey Kovalev did. And they react. So maybe the next reaction will not be a jab. Maybe it'll be a right hand or something. But at the end of the day, I know they will react to me when I bait them. So I bait, and then I look, see what they do so I can counter them. That bait is an effective jab because it gets a reaction out of the opponent. Now you got probing jabs. The probing jab tells me where the opponent is, where I am I at the right range, etc., and can set me up for another shot. Right? Usually a power punch. Now, Triple G versus Canelo. Triple G's touching Canelo to the head. He's hitting with probing jabs, pushing his head back a little bit. Then he does the probing jab because after that we see power shots coming behind Canelo. So we know he probing to hit Canelo. Now, if that probe is effective, he will hit Canelo, right? If the probe is ineffective, he's going to fall short of his shots. He's going to hit air and he's going to hit arms. When he hits air and he hits arms, how can I call that jab effective? So all night long, Triple G's hitting Canelo with probing jab, and Canelo's allowing him to, because Canelo said, okay, I'm going to make you bait your own damn self. I'm going to counter you off of your own jab, your probing jab. I don't even have to throw a jab, because you already doing the job for me. I know how far away I am from you because you can touch me with a probing jab. So I know I'm in the pocket. I'm just waiting for you to throw your power punches so I can react, so I can respond with counters. I'm going to set you up. I don't even have to throw a jab because you're doing the job for me. So I don't even have to bait you because I know you're going to come anyway. That's the kind of fight Canelo did. So he put away the jab. Canelo didn't have to use the jab in that entire fight if he didn't want to. He was letting Triple G do his work for him. But y'all can't see that because y'all limited to a boxer must jab. He's the best punch in boxing. Oh, Triple G threw so many jabs. And look, he out jab Canelo. Yeah, but really, like, homie, man, you got to understand why a guy throws a jab to start with. If you don't understand why, and you don't understand Triple G's game plan, what was Triple G's game plan? I'm going to tell you. Triple G's game plan in the first fight was to back Canelo up using the jab, set up his power shots, and beat Canelo down. He thought Canelo would be a smaller fighter. If I could punish him to the body, I'm going to get him. He's aware that Canelo's a counterpuncher, so he was wary of that. And when they were fighting in the center of the ring, he thought that Canelo would be dangerous, and he thought once he got Canelo to the ropes, he'd be able to break him down and stop him. That was his game plan. So all of those probing jabs was not to protect Triple G. He was probing to launch an aggressive attack, and he increased that attack as Canelo kept on counterpunching him as the fight went on. So we knew what Triple G's game plan was, and he was ineffective in his game plan. Ineffective. Because Canelo made him miss. He missed so many power shots in that whole fight. He threw a lot of power shots. He missed a lot of power shots. Okay? Canelo out-dominated him in power shots. Canelo had a battle with the jab because Gennady Golovkin was doing the jab for him. So he knew where Gennady Golovkin and everything was off of Gennady Golovkin's jab. Okay? Canelo was counting Gennady Golovkin off the ropes. Off the ropes. He was sitting on the ropes, rolling all them punches, you know, catching all them punches, you know, making Gennady Golovkin miss, you know what I'm saying? Snapping back, you know, hardly doing any work. And then countering him after he thrown his low. And Triple G kept on following Canelo around the ring. Couldn't cut out the damn ring for nothing. Just kept on following him around the ring. Canelo just taking a break when he wanted to. He was very comfortable in that fight. So there's no way Triple G won that fight, man. No way. Tell me about jabs. What are you telling me about jabs for? Most of them was probing jabs. They did nothing. You had one or two that hurt Canelo. I think in the 12th especially, he got a couple jabs in that hurt Canelo. Because Canelo was crashing him and he got reckless and he got hit in the head. Okay, he had to back off for a minute. And then he started back doing what he do. You know? He had a good round 9 too. But that's about it. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at people don't understand boxing. If they understood boxing and you know, people know about the jab, but they don't know about the different kinds of jabs, you know, when to throw a jab, you know, how predictable you must be with your jab, you know, how it sets up other punches, how it can be used defensively. I mean, they don't know the hows of things. So they're watching these fights and they feel because Canelo is throwing a jab, that means he's winning the fight. You could throw a many jabs. You could throw a million jabs. Don't mean you winning no damn fight. You know, you have to ask yourself, why is he throwing the jab and what's the purpose of the jab? It's not just he threw so many, you know, it's boxing, man. Jim Lampley and Larry Merchant made the sport of boxing dumb. They dumbed down the sport. We just froze up. 30%. Fuck up. Yeah, they dumbed down the sport. Anyways, 2 hours into it, I'm going to wrap up right here. You guys on what you need. I'm going to catch you guys later. Peace. But like I said before, Canelo Alvarez, you know, a lot of people be talking controversially and talking about, you know, how, you know, a lot of negative things because he proved all the doubters wrong who was doubting him. And he just keep on looking better and better in his fights. And a lot of people don't like that about him. But truth be told, the man is good. You got to give him his props. You're not giving him his props. You need to give him his props. You know what I'm saying? And I don't really appreciate, like I said before, that he's not facing Jamal Charlo and Demetrius Andrade. He's facing everybody else but them guys. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but he need to face them dudes. He need to face Demetrius Andrade. He needs to face Jamal Charlo. You know, if he ain't gonna face a caliber fighter at super middleweight, a Caleb Plant or, you know, David Benavidez. I wish I could say Billy Joe Saunders, but no. Callum Smith, all right, whatever. You gotta face them dudes, man. And I heard Jamal Charlo is moving up to 168. He want to face Benavidez. That's a good fight. Benavidez is saying how he's a better fighter than Jamal Charlo, that is, than Canelo. Listen, you can throw how much trash talk you want Benavidez. Until you get in the ring with Canelo, we're going to talk about that. Until then, you don't know what the hell you saying. He a better fighter than Canelo. Come on, man. Looky here. You don't know. You have not faced Canelo, so you can't say, you know. And David Benavidez, of all people, I mean, everybody, he getting a lot of praise and talking about he's, you know, again, a lot of hype behind a fighter. And they ain't done shit yet. You know what I'm saying? Benavidez ain't done shit yet, but y'all hyping him up. I'm not saying Caleb Plant ain't done shit too. He hasn't. And Benavidez faced Anthony Durrell and beat him. So kudos to him on that, but Benavidez, man, they be hyping his ass up now. And I don't understand why people do the hype train thing. Like, why you do that? You know, let David Benavidez build his brand. Let him build himself up. All of a sudden, you know, David Benavidez will beat Caleb Plant. And they have a game plan to beat Caleb Plant and stuff. I'm like, look, man, look. Show me the fight and prove to me you can beat him. Don't talk to me about you can beat him. Because Personally, I favor Caleb Plant to beat your ass any day, anytime. Because everybody always go with the guy that can get knockouts. Everybody always go with the guy that seems to have blistering speed. He not doing that shit in a fight. He not gonna let them hands go in a fight. I know y'all say he's good in sparring and the Benavidez brothers and stuff, but I saw Ronald Gavril give him all the problems in the world, and I thought Gavril beat him. So at the end of the day, he overhyped. Okay, he's overhyped. Stop it. People need to back the fuck off of David Benavidez, let him do his thing, and then after he's done his thing, y'all can say whatever you want. I'm not a hater of David Benavidez. He's got a long career ahead of him. He should be able to do great. I'm not saying no, but y'all be hyping up certain fighters. Y'all be up in Terence Crawford's ass. You know, y'all be up in David Benavidez' ass. And I'm asking myself, why? Because I'm a reasonable dude. I'll give him his props where it deserved. Two-time world champion, doing very well. But is he a better boxer than Caleb Plant? Fuck no. No. Come on. Then tell me Jamal Charlo is a better boxer than Canelo. By what? By what? What metrics are you measuring this by? What metrics are you measuring? I'm not saying that you absolutely incontrovertibly wrong, but you definitely can't be definitive on that. You know what I'm saying? Look at who Canelo has faced, man. He faced guys like Jamal Charlo. I would love to still see it. Love to see it. You know, Matt Karpov was whooping Charlo's ass. He was landing all them lead rights in his head, and his lead lefts in his face. He was eating them lead lefts. He's tough, but I mean, he was eating it. You know, come on, man. Don't be like that. Don't be like that, man. When have you seen Canelo eating lead lefts like that? I'm just saying, where are you getting this? Where are you getting this confidence that Jamal Charlo is a better fighter than Canelo? Are you just playing politics? And then you're going to talk about how you're going to beat Caleb Plant. Okay. Let's see it then. Because Caleb Plant's not a retired boxer. You know, it's like Eric Spence saying he can beat Floyd and Floyd's retired. No, Caleb Plant's an actual boxer. Let's see it then. Let's see you face Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant want to face you, so let's see it. Right? Talk is cheap. This one you can actually do, so make it happen. You know what I'm saying? You know, until you get in the ring with Canelo and you get in the ring with Jamal Charlo, you cannot make no assessment on whether Jamal Charlo is a better fighter than Canelo definitively. You got to get in the ring with them. It's just like how I'm saying, I think Caleb Plant is a better boxer than David Benavidez, but until they two fight each other, I can't really say definitively, right? These guys have the opportunity to face each other, so face each other, and we'll see who comes out at the top of the heap. That's how you do it, right? That's boxing for you. That's all I'm saying, you know? And a lot of these guys out here, you know, they're talking, but we're not seeing the fights being made. That's all I'm saying. I mean, you could be hyping up the fight and everything, but you're just talking. As far as I'm concerned, David Benavidez, you're just bumping your mouth. Until you get in the ring with Canelo, till you get in the ring with Jamal Charlo, then you can say who is better than who. And when Jamal Charlo faces Canelo, we'll know definitively who's the better fighter. That's simple. Now, the thing about it is, Canelo has faced several people with the style that Jamal Charlo has, including Sergey Kovalev, who got stopped by Canelo. So, you know, Jamal Charlo is known for his really good jab. He has some pretty quick hands, his good foot speed and everything. But you can see he's still gaining experience by facing boxers, you know, near the contender status and close enough to the top tier status at 160. So he's still gaining experience, and he'll need that experience, right? Demetrius Andrade, same thing, except Demetrius Andrade, you know, he shows you that he's ready for Canelo more or less now than does Jamal Charlo. And he brings a lot more skill and a lot more things to the table than Jamal does. So Jamal even talking ill of Demetrius Andrade is funny because, to me, Demetrius Andrade is the most skilled fighter. Now, the question is, can Jamal Charlo make the fight with Demetrius Andrade? I don't know. Because here's Jamal, talk to Eddie Hearn, said make the fight, you know, talk to Al and let's make the fight. And he's like, Al who? And Jamal Charlo's like, what's your problem with Al? You know what I'm saying? Al Heyman's my manager. So talk with Al Heyman, who's my manager, so we can make the fight happen. I want the fight to happen. So talk to my manager. Okay? Just talk with him and y'all will make the arrangements for the fight. What I'm telling you is, this is what Jamal kept on telling Eddie Hearns is, look, I have a manager. Okay? You have to go to the right channel. So talk to my manager, Al Heyman. He'll make the fight happen. Guaranteed. Because I want it and he wants it. So if your fighter really wants this fight, you'll go to Al Heyman and it'll be put together. And Eddie Hearns was like, who's Al Heyman? So it sounded like Eddie Hearns was full of shit. You know, he's just talking to Jamal Charlo to make some noise, but he's not interested in facing his manager, which is the proper channel to go through. I don't care if you're an actor, whatever, you say, go through my manager. I'll instruct my manager, I want this fight. So my manager will make the fight happen because that's when he manages my affairs. So go to my fucking manager and talk to him and the fight will happen. Right? So don't tell me about who's Al. He's my manager. I'm instructing you now to go to my manager and talk to him. Okay? I want the fight. So you know it's a yes already. Now you just need to work out the details with my manager. So do that. So if Eddie Hearn doesn't make that fight happen, it's because he did not obey what Charlo told him. Talk to Al. If you can't talk to Al, then you didn't want to fucking fight. Okay, Eddie Hearn? So stop the bullshit. Okay? If we're not hearing about Jamal Charlo versus Demetrius Andrews because you're full of shit. You were just talking to Jamal Charlo for no fucking reason at all. You were wasting the man's time. Okay? Because the man is a businessman. He's serious. And he's telling you, go check out Al. Al is my manager. He's telling you what you need to do. He's telling you what you need to do. Al works for Jamal Charlo. Jamal Charlo doesn't work for Al. So when he's telling you go to Al, this is what you need to do, buddy. You need to go to Al, talk to Al, and work out the details. Because he manages me. If Eddie Hearn doesn't do that, then he's a fool. Because the man himself, Jamal Charlo, is telling you what you need to do to make the fight happen. And if you can't do that, for whatever reason, you're not willing to deal with Al Heyman, for whatever reason, you're not willing to deal with Al Heyman, okay? Who you had to deal with Andy Ruiz. You had to deal with Al Heyman when you had to deal with Andy Ruiz. So Al Heyman was Andy Ruiz's manager as well. And these fighters, they don't deal with managing, okay? They don't deal with managing. They leave that to the hands of the competent person who can manage their affairs. Like actors, they don't deal with musicians. They don't deal with managers. So when they tell you, go to my app, here's my manager's name, this is his address, his phone number, contact my manager. I'll instruct my manager what to do, how I want this, and he'll work it out. When they tell you, go to Al Heyman, Mr. Eddie Hearn, when they tell you to go to Al Heyman, if you're serious about the fight, if you're serious about getting Demetrius Andrews to face Jamal Charlo, or y'all just clout chasing, because Demetrius Andrews is starting to look like a clout chaser if he's not serious. He's just sitting down in the back saying, I wanted to make this fight with this guy and this. Well, here the rubber meets the road. Jamal Charlo is telling you, go to Al Heyman and make the arrangement with him. Obviously, I want the fight. So now it's all about you working out the details with my manager. Because it's basically a yes. Now you just need to work out the details with him. That's what basically Jamal Charlo told Eddie Hearn, right? So it's up to Eddie Hearn now to make the fight happen for Demetrius Andrews if he's serious about it. And if Demetrius Andrews is really serious about this fight happening, he'll make a fight happen through Eddie Hearn. Now, if Eddie Hearn doesn't want the fight to happen, for a reason, he will not talk to Al Heyman. Because when you saying Al who, I thought you was your own boss. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. If the man is telling you Jamal Charlo, manager Al Heyman, right? He is the boss because he's telling you what you need to do. He is the boss. You know, who is Al Heyman? Dude, he's his manager, okay? If you had to deal with Deontay Wilder, you would have to go to Shelly Finkel. Shelly Finkel will have to be at that table as well as Al Heyman, for you to do any business with Deontay Wilder. You know this as a fact because they represent him. If you don't want to do business with Shelly Finkel or Al Heyman, that's on you, buddy. That means you don't want that fight. Because that's the guys who represent Deontay Wilder. And with Jamal's case, it's Al Heyman that represents Jamal Charlo. He has his own promotional company. But he has a manager because he's a boxer. Okay? I do not know if that manager manages the fighters that are under him at this present point in time, but we know as a boxer that manager manages his career. So you're going to have to deal with Al Heyman no matter what you say. You know, Eddie Hearn tried to diss Jamal Charlo as well, talking about he ain't fought nobody, but he did fight people, just not at 160. And he did fight somebody who faced your fighter, Andy Lee, in Matt Korobov. So he did fight somebody. Matt Korobov arguably beat him, but he did fight somebody. So Eddie Hearn is wrong about that and just cheap-shotting Jamal Charlo after the phone call is done, even though Jamal Charlo told him what to do to make the fight happen. Personally told him. It's on him if he wanted to do it or not. But Jamal Charlo surrendered his managerial power to Al Heyman. So if you don't like that, well, that's your problem. But that's he telling you what you need to do to make the fight happen and would happen. Al Heyman makes everything happen. He makes fights happen. And Eddie Hearn, of all people, should know that because he made the fight happen with Andy Ruiz and DAZN and Eddie Hearn's company, Matchroom, with Anthony Joshua. Yeah, if he's sour that Anthony Joshua got beaten by Andy Ruiz because Al Heyman fighter, that's his problem. Once again, you know, he might be afraid of Al Heyman from there on in. But I don't see why he should, because Demetrius Andrade, in my opinion, has more skills and more abilities and more tools at his disposal to beat a Jamal Charlo. So we'd love to see those fights, you know. And if Eddie Hearn's keeping that back, or even Demetrius Andrade's doing like he's calling out people, but really he's ducking them and hiding in the shadows, chilling, whichever way it goes, that's on him. You know what I mean? Because Demetrius Andrade has a way of pulling out of fights. But yeah, Demetrius Andrade, man, I feel sorry for the dude sometimes, and sometimes I don't. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with him. But Jamal Charlo, man, Canelo facing any one of those guys would be great. Any one of those guys. And that's what he's left with now. He don't have no more veterans of the sport to face. You know, and I don't want to hear about Triple G. Don't want to hear about him. I wanted to see him face Billy Joe Saunders. The Billy Joe Saunders fucked that up. So any one of the other guys, Demetrius Andrade, you know, Jamal Charlo, David Benavidez, Caleb Plant, you know, any one of those guys. Chris Eubank Jr., got to put him in the mix, even though he's more 160. And Chris Eubank Jr. versus Jamal Charlo is a good fight as well. So that would be a nice matchup as well. 2 hours and 8 minutes, 41 seconds in. We've been really streaming. YouTube froze up on me. As to tell you how long we've been doing this video, I enjoy doing it though. If I can do a 4-hour, 5-hour video, I might do it. EJ Boxing Live, shout out to EJ Boxing Live. I'm going to give some shout outs to different channels that now don't necessarily teach you boxing, but they talk some boxing out there. That's really good. So we got fights that, a channel that breaks down fights, Hidden Gem. You guys should check that out. Shout out to the channel that also breaks down fights. So shout out to, I'm trying to remember the name of the channel. Oh, it's coming to me and then it disappears. It's a pretty big channel. Well, when I remember it. Anyway, peoples, I've been talking to you guys for hours, 2 hours and 10 minutes and 2 seconds. So I'm gonna chill out. But yeah, Canelo, man, Canelo's a phenomenal fighter, and looking forward to what else he will bring to the table. But definitely need to fight one of these younger cats, one of these young hungry lions. You know, Mercia Suleiman in past and say how he would like to see Jamal Charlo versus Canelo, and then he put a big butt in there, and I'm like, man, if there's any time Canelo should face a fighter that's of that stature, should be facing Jamal Charlo. He should face Jamal Charlo, or he should face Demetrius Andrade. You know, I keep on emphasizing them two particularly, but Derevyanchenko will be okay. You know, any one of the 168-pound champions right now would be okay. You know, if you want to face somebody back at 175, maybe a Bivol, that'll be okay as well. But now he got a crop of fighters he could face, which are a good crop of fighters. So I'm looking forward to him facing them. Win, lose, or draw, I'm gonna enjoy those fights for sure. You know, and that's what I think. So we'll see what happens in the future, and we'll see what happens at 154 as well with this new crop of fighters that we have. It's a very exciting time in boxing for almost all divisions, because now there are just one or two veterans left of the sport that are still in the sport, and it's basically a whole new era of boxing. So it's great times, man, great times. I'm gonna catch you guys later. I'm what you need. Don't forget, you can like, share, subscribe, donate via Western Union on the MoneyGram to my channel. I'm gonna catch you guys later. Peace.